Hey everybody, it's John from Humor and History. We're in the middle of a snowstorm. You can't see it, but I know it's happening out there. So, let's continue here. I'm doing a couple of these as I get some time. Top 20 Americanisms that really annoy British people. All right. I'm sure that you can come up with a lot more than this, but let's get into it.
Number 20, Fanny pack.
Yeah.
Matching fanny packs.
Already we can hear UK teenagers and adults stifling a giggle at this, since a fanny pack provides a very different image in our noggins than it does for those across the pond. Famously called a bum bag over here, the fashionable item of the 80s was everywhere at one point, especially when Brits went abroad, as the pouches safely carried various currencies and whatnot, while suspended around the waist via a strap.
Buying a fanny pack is inherently a fool's errand.
Hands-free belt satchels.
Initially, the pack was meant to be placed behind us, but that changed over time, and it was moved to the front to deter pickpocketers.
Yeah.
For those that didn't know, for the US, fanny means backside, hence the change from the perfect British alliteration version.
It's not a fanny pack.
Number 9.
It's true. I think I had one when I was a kid. We called them fanny packs. I don't know why. I mean, I know why. It's supposed to be covering your butt, but you call them bumbags, and your bum is your back. So, two different words mean two different things. Hey, you call cigarettes fags, so it means something different in the U.S. Let's move on.
T. Winningest.
Hold up. I coached the winningest glee club in history.
Over in Blighty, when we discuss topics like sports, those that have racked in many awards,
The winningest?
we
That's
use
weird.
terms like dominate, best, successful, or achieve the most wins. For example,
Yeah.
Manchester United's legendary manager, Alex Ferguson, has won the most Premier League games.
I'm sorry, by the way, this is a very funny movie they're showing right now. It's called European Vacation, if you don't know it. That's Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo. They did a movie called Christmas Vacation. It was more popular, but I love European Vacation. It's very funny. I think it's worth a look for the American family in the early 80s. And it's a good movie.
But in the US, they ruin this with the unsettling word winningest.
Backed by popular demand, the all-time winningest family in the history of Pig and a Poke, the Frogers!
So
I don't think we really use that as much as you might think, but I don't know. I don't hear a lot of people use it. Usually people say with the most wins. Sorry if we do say that. I don't think that's a good word. It sounds weird to me.
for them, Alex Ferguson is the Premier League's winningest manager. Gross. It's a very unpleasant word to the ear.
Yeah,
so
I
much
hear
so
you.
that some English grammarians despise it. And we can't really blame them. It sounds made up and not something that
right?
should be in the vernacular. But, sadly, it is.
Or it sounds
I
like
win
there's a
today.
better word.
That makes 3,
Should.
making me the winningest first-year freshman coach ever.
Number 18. Z.
What about Z?
What?
Z?
Z.
I don't know what they're
letter
talking about.
after Y.
Oh, now I know.
Z? Plan Z!
That's right. You guys say
It's
Z.
strange how even the English alphabet has taken on a different pronunciation in the US. Well, one letter, anyway. The one that's right at the end. The letter Z. Yet
Z,
over there,
yeah.
for some reason, it's Z.
Z, 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 Z. Z, 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 Z.
Weirdly, pretty much every country that has English as its main language says Z. Only Americans have to be different. They even copyrighted the ABC song in 1835 to influence children to pronounce it as Z.
Z. Z.
That's so weird.
According to academics, UK English took Z from the French Z. After all, we nicked many words from our neighbours over the years,
Okay.
then slightly changed them. If we had it our way, it would be World War Z, or JZ,
Right.
and ZZ Top. Number 17.
That's so weird. I now I really want to look up why we call it Z and not Z. Why did we deviate?
TV season. In today's modern age, with television
Oh.
shows being accessible all over the globe, this difference is pretty confusing.
Friends was TV's #1 comedy for 6 straight seasons.
On one side, we have
Yep.
the US and Canada, who think TV season is correct. On the other team, the UK, Ireland, and occasionally Australia believe TV series is spot on. And with no bias at all, the latter is correct. The North Americans refer to the whole program as a series, and specific episode releases as seasons. You know, like the weather or spicing food.
Actually, I think it might be more like football season, American football. Oh, I had to catch myself there. I almost got burned at the stake by you guys for that one, I bet.
Because, Brian, tonight we sup on the finest feast of the television season. It is the season finale of the Cadwalladers of Essex.
They differentiate the grouping of episodes with Season 1, Season 2, and so on.
Yeah.
For us, the collection of episodes is a series. So we go with first series, second series, etc.
I'm going to guess that your main concern is the time commitment of watching an entire season of a new show.
Number 6.
You know, we do say series too, but we don't say it as often. But yeah, season's the word. Okay.
I'm shook.
That was
Shook.
amazing. I'm shook.
Slang can be a
I'm
useful tool
shook.
to understand generations, but occasionally it can leak into the mainstream and graduate into a proper phrase. And that's the case with I'm shook and the slightly altered shooketh. Meant to be a past tense of shake, as in being startled by something. It sounds weird to the British ear, which vastly prefers shaken.
I'm shook.
While the phrase has been around since the 1800s, even being slang for someone drunk, shook started to take off in the mainstream with Elvis Presley's I'm All Shook Up.
That was beautiful,
Oh.
babe. It's all shook up.
Then, in the 1990s,
Interesting.
thanks to hip-hop songs involving the term, it solidified its place in pop culture and won't leave. Number 15.
That's weird. I don't know many people that say that. I do know about the song All Shook Up, but I don't think anybody actually says it. And sometimes people come up with words just to be cool, even though they're not. Like, really don't know what a hollaback girl is or stuff like that. Or when people say hella, it's just it's
Deplane. The British language has a vital word for getting off of public transport: disembark.
yeah,
It can be
disembark.
used for buses, trains, boats, and aeroplanes, showing its vast versatility. It's pretty nifty that it covers so many aspects. However, apparently, it being a multi-use word was too handy for the US, as they decided to invent a one specifically for departing jets in the 1920s.
Anyway, we're gonna have to deplane.
What's deplane mean?
That being
What's deplane mean?
plane. Ugh. With the prefix D, often meaning to remove, the term seemingly implies that the plane is being taken away, like in defrost.
Remove the
but
plane.
instead, and more confusingly, deplane means travelers leaving the aircraft. Weird.
Should be deplaning now.
Number 14. Bi-weekly.
It's weird.
I'm gonna need bi-weekly reports from you.
Have you ever had
I'm
this
with you on
incident or
this.
something similar happen to you? Martha, make sure you send that email bi-weekly. You smile and nod in acknowledgement, but then the cogs in your brain start whirring as you wonder if that
Twice
might
within
send the
1
email
week is what
twice a week, or firing it off every 2 weeks, which are very different expectations.
We can't. It's our bi-weekly puzzle night.
If that sounds familiar,
Yep.
we don't blame you, since it's really confusing.
Uh-huh.
In the UK, for the former situation, we use the bonkers phrase twice a week. For the latter, we use
Twice a
fortnightly,
week.
for
Yeah.
when things need to happen every couple of weeks. It just makes things nice and simple.
It does.
Bi-weekly, intermediately.
Number 13. Hair bands.
My friend Ricky cuts my hair and just cut my bangs last week.
If you have a purposeful
Bangs,
strip
that's
of loose
weird, yeah.
material on something, like curtains,
No,
for
it's not
example,
actually.
it's called a fringe. As such, when you have a straight collection of flowing hair at the front of the face, covering the forehead, that too is called a fringe. Pretty easy to remember, unless you're American.
Why don't you cut your bang?
Over in the States and oozing into other countries thanks to US YouTube stylists, the fringe is referred to as bangs. People like Zoe Deschanel have become synonymous with the word. Bangs is a confusing term. That word typically means something that makes loud noises, or something more adult in slang.
Oh, I see what you're
Which
saying.
isn't ideal.
Carrie, is Bridget's hair safe from bangs?
For now.
Number 12.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. I'm okay with bangs. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I don't like the word. I really don't like the word because I guess I just don't like bangs. But I think it's a weird. It is funny. I'll give you that.
Irregardless.
Yeah.
Perhaps not a more hotly debated word between linguistics and grammarians than irregardless.
Irregardless.
It's a shambles of a term. After all, it's a double negative.
Yeah.
Since the prefix ir means not, while the suffix less means without. Over in the UK, we stick with the time-tested regardless as William Shakespeare intended. We assume.
Irregardless, I am your god now.
Irregardless has been an
True.
American vernacular since the early 1900s and has somehow been deemed a word by various dictionaries. Historians believe it could have been a portmanteau, a blending of the words irrespective and regardless. But either way, the modern-day US term ignores this and instead substitutes regardless with it.
But irregardless, I should have had immunity to all of it.
Number 11. Chips.
Chips.
If there's one thing we can all agree on in the UK, crisps are great. Those little slices of crispy potatoes or other veggies smothered in spices are a delight and a national pastime. While we all argue which is the best flavour, over in the States, they can't even use the correct term. Instead, they use chips.
I love how condescending he is. It can't even use the correct term. Okay.
I'll take a potato chip and eat it.
This adds more bewilderment to the Brits, since that means thick slices of fried potatoes that go great with everything. To compensate, the US uses fries for chips. For us, French fries are thinner, crispier versions of chips. It's just a mess that causes too many headaches whenever a Brit asks an American how they prefer their potatoes to be prepared.
Fries are called chips. Chips are called crisps.
Number 10. Waiting on something.
Alright.
In general, US prepositions can be pretty awkward. But wait on seems to have caught on in the UK.
Oh, I'm
Physically
waiting on.
speaking,
Yeah,
You
okay.
can wait, as in delay or dally, on anything you like. On the platform, the doorstep, even on the car, if you intend to recline on its roof.
Okay.
But with non-physical things, like decisions, bank transfers, and movie releases, you definitely wait for them. Of course, waiters really do wait on, but most of the rest of us really don't.
Oh, thanks very much. You blonde bastard.
Number 9. I have gotten.
I mean, I had gotten out of control, and I didn't even realize it.
If gotten were a noun,
What?
which it isn't, then
Oh,
you could conceivably
okay.
have it. Maybe on toast or somewhere in your kitchen. But have we really gotten excited, anxious, or suitably irate? And when we splash out on designer t-shirts and tell our friends all about it the following day, we haven't gotten new clothes. We just got them. In fairness, most linguists
Okay.
agree that this sneaky suffix
Yeah.
is rooted in traditional British English. Think
Interesting.
ill-gotten gains, but it's mostly an American habit nowadays.
Yeah.
Yes, might have gotten away with it too. If it wasn't for these blasted kids and their dog.
Then you kids deserve a big thanks.
Number 8. You do the math.
Right.
It's just a phrase.
This one just doesn't add up. Why study mathematics, plural, just to be told to do the math, singular? Given that
Yeah,
this phrase is
okay.
usually dropped at the end of a debate as some kind of all-conquering conversation ender and insurmountable point prover, we Brits can be quick to bristle whenever it's issued our way. We would suggest going back to school, but that throws up the whole college-university hoo-ha, and there just aren't enough hours in the day.
one way or another. It's a mathematical fact. It's like Vegas.
Number 7. Which pants are you wearing? Clumsy line of questioning on an X-rated phone line, or innocent inquiry about another person's dress code?
Just shut it and put your pants on!
Of course, the underwear or trousers talk all depends upon which side of the Atlantic you're asking from.
Yeah.
Interchangeable nouns can often lead expats to embarrassing situations. Remember, your car needs petrol, unless it needs gas, which isn't the same fuel used for older style ovens. Sneakers are trainers, although there's nothing especially sly about them.
By the way, gas is a form of a mineral, or a form of, I don't know. What would you? I can't think of the word. Like water is a solid liquid gas, and then it's a particles, air particle. But I just screwed that up big time. So let me just delete that part. But it's live, so I have to keep going. But yeah, we shouldn't say gas. We should say petrol.
And Band-Aid means plaster, but it's also a seminal 80s charity single, in case you forgot. Number...
Yeah, that one was, I don't know if he's being tongue-in-cheek about it, but yeah, that's a literal Band-Aid.
6.
I thought that was
Finding
interesting.
The first floor. To another small but significant difference between British and American English, and one which, having crept over from the States, can cause understandable confusion in the UK.
Find
when
the
you
first
walk
floor?
into a building at street level, you are on the
Yes.
ground floor, not the
Yes.
first floor.
You are on the ground
first
floor.
floor is one flight of stairs upwards, but the Americanism says that level is the second floor. It's not, but you can start to see why it's vital that the lift is in full working order. Number 5. Have a nice day.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Don't tell me what to do.
In general, most Brits balk at America's apparently unbridled enthusiasm, but it's difficult to criticize their commitment to peppy customer service. But phrases like good job and have a great day can sound forced and insincere when muttered with the moodiness of a Brit cold caller.
Why the f do you keep asking me that?
It's all in the delivery, this one. Of course, everyone should try to be good to everyone else, and wishing someone well is a lovely thing to do.
Yeah.
But let's say it like we mean it.
That's so true.
Number 4. Quite, right?
Not quite my tempo.
Again, this Americanism mostly frustrates because of the misunderstandings it can inspire. We Brits mostly use quite as a middle ground between not at all and absolutely for words like dangerous, delicate, or difficult. If something's quite damaged, it's not completely beyond repair.
So, with the dispatch of the sergeant, we will now be able to concentrate
Great
on the
movie.
eradication of our hoodie infestation.
Right.
But the US uses quite as a blanket substitute for very. So if something's quite extraordinary, then it really is extraordinary. But problems come if you're described as quite intelligent or quite beautiful. For self-esteem's sake, which is it?
Quite right.
Number...
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, it's not quite there. It's almost there. Or he or she is quite dumb. That's pretty much almost all the way there.
3. Alternative facts.
Did you throw Jeremy Paxman out of a window?
Oh. Well, kind of.
A term from the top. This idea was first formed following former US Press Secretary Sean Spicer's insistence that Donald Trump's presidential inauguration ceremony was well attended, despite photos seemingly showing that it wasn't. Counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway, famously defended Spicer, claiming that his version of events was built not on falsehoods, but on alternative facts.
And they're giving Sean Spicer, our press secretary, gave alternative facts to that. But the point remains
Wait a minute, alternative
that
facts?
It's jargon worthy of the British writer
Yeah.
George Orwell, but we can thank America for making it mainstream and for providing the buzzword for post-truth politics. Number 2.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that you had to watch that.
The least worst option.
I'm doing this for the city, not you.
You're the least worst option.
Our runner-up rounds on another apparently diplomatic double negative, and three
Yeah.
words which really mean nothing at all. Because what can a least worst option ever really be? If there's something worse than the worst possible something, then the first worst something was never the worst in the first place.
We have a better bad idea than this?
This is the best bad idea we have, sir. By far.
It's pretty simple, really. Anything that's
It's
less
true.
worse
It's
than
very
anything
true.
else can't possibly be labelled the worst, and the least worse of those things that are less worse is actually the best option available. Hallelujah.
That's true.
Number 1, I could care less.
I'm with you on this one. I could care less. Or I couldn't care less. That's so yeah.
I could care less. I just want to do my job.
Delivered when someone's past the point of caring, and if you've stuck with this video, then this presumably isn't you, so bravo. I couldn't care less makes perfect sense. Lose 2 letters and an apostrophe, however, and it definitely does not.
I really couldn't care less.
I could care less implies that there's still some caring to be had.
You could
which
do
is
more.
really what the person speaking wants to convey. I could care less is like conceding that worse things have happened. But with regard to American English, they rarely have.
Because that, as an expression for not or hardly caring, just makes no sense. Do you agree with that?
What do you guys think? Is there anyone that they've missed, or which one is the one that irks you the most? I would love to hear about it. All right, guys, you take it easy. It's John from Humor and History. Just trying to get on the mend and not work so much, but it's not going to happen. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.